Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and I'm coming to you today with another exciting edition of Ask An Aquarius. Okay, if you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Okay, so I had somebody ask me a really interesting question today. The question said, what exactly is self-love? Now, some people say that self-love is, bubble baths and, buying yourself chocolates, and that is definitely a part of self-love. But for me, self-love is a little bit more deeper than that because as I've grown in self-love, I've started to realize it's a little bit more simplistic than I originally thought it was. But it makes a lot of sense. Self-love is when you make the best decisions for yourself and your life from a place of love. So if you're making the best decisions for your life, the decisions that are going to help you live your best life, that means you're doing things that are best for you in the situation, in the place that you're at. So yeah, it's, taking time for yourself. It's, breaking away and doing things your spirit wants to do. It's manifesting that business you always wanted to manifest. Self-love is all about doing those kind of things. Self-love is about living your best life. And it means that you make decisions to live your best life. So you don't make decisions that are going to be harmful to you. You don't stay with a partner who's abusive. For example, you don't keep on, eating pork chops when your doctor told you you need to lose 100 pounds. Self-love is all about making the decisions that are best for you in your life. So that's why often you'll hear people say, if you loved yourself, you wouldn't let people harm you. That's absolutely true, because that's not what's best for your life. Being harmed is never what's best for anybody's life. So self-love is all about making those decisions. So self-love can be going back to school to finish your degree. Self-love can be opening up your own business. Self-love can be calling out from work so that you can sleep all day because you're exhausted. Self-love can be sitting in the bathtub for 3 hours because you spent all your time with the kids all day and all you want to do is relax. Self-love can be sending yourself chocolates or cards in the mail because you don't really have anybody else to do it. So you send them to yourself. You send them to yourself and you smooth yourself with pretty words and poetry, while you're waiting for your life partner to come along, for example. Self-love can be leaving the person that you're with because even though you love them, they're not growing. They're not putting forth any effort. Self-love is about all of those things. It's about making the right decisions. It all starts with your choices. And if you're making bad choices, turning things around and making good choices. One of the biggest things about self-love is healing. Identifying anywhere inside of you that needs healing and going for it. A person who loves themselves will heal thyself. They won't just stay sick in any kind of way. And this is physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. If they identify there's an illness, they attack it, they deal with it, they heal it immediately, and then move on to the next thing. So self-love, like I said before, isn't just about buying yourself pretty things. It's about making yourself feeling good, making yourself feel good, and making the best decisions for your life. You have to look at your life and look at the choices that you're making, especially if you're young. A lot of my subscribers are young, and you guys remind me of myself 20 years ago. And I wasn't making the best decisions for myself. I was not loving myself at all because I was making decisions based on my emotional needs, and my emotional needs were based on my emotional wounds. So if you're making decisions from your emotional wounds, you're going to continuously make bad decisions. I'm very clear that some of you who write me about bad decisions are making them from a wounded space, from your wounded childhood or from your wounded adulthood. That's not a good place to make decisions from. If you really loved yourself, you would stop making decisions that took you into abusive situations, and you would say, hey, I'm not going to do nothing until I heal myself. I'm not going to do nothing until I stop crying every night. I'm not going to do anything until I get rid of this person who's disrespecting me. That's loving yourself. Loving yourself is saying no when you mean no and yes when you mean yes. So if somebody asks you, can they borrow $100, and you know the answer is no, you say no because you know that you need the money for yourself. And then you're going to resent them if you give them the money and they ultimately, as you knew they would, don't pay you back. That's loving yourself. Loving yourself is putting yourself first. And people often ask me, is it selfish to put yourself first? Not in your own life. In your own life, I recommend the following hierarchy: God, you, children. That's the hierarchy I go with. Goddess is first. God, goddess, the ancestors, the heavenly spirits, that's first. Then it's me, because I can't help anybody else if I'm screwed up. And then my children, and then everything else beneath that. Everything else sprinkles in some kind of a hierarchy beneath that. But if you keep those same three, you'll come to find that the decisions that you make will be best for you. And if your decisions are best for you, then you have a good life. And then you're loving yourself, and then you can love other people and let other people come into your life. So really think about that, because I get a lot of letters during the week, and I would say 95% of them are making really bad decisions because they don't love themselves. Really bad decisions. People are in relationships with drug addicts. People are in relationships with alcoholics. People are holding themselves in jobs that they hate because they don't think they deserve any better. I mean, I'm seeing some real bad choices, some real painful choices that are being made out of a lack of self-love. You know, people are dealing with treachery. They're dealing with theft. They're dealing with all kinds of issues with families. They're letting their mother, their father, their sister, their cousins run all over them. You know, some people are in really bad relationships and they tell me it's for the kids. But if the person's abusing you and the kids, how is that for the kids? Like some people, you know, they'll be like, well, I want my son to have his mother. Yeah, but his mom's a drug addict and she beats him when you're not around. That's not good for him. He's better off without her than having her emotionally and physically abuse him. Like a lot of the things that I'm hearing from people are strictly from that space. So if you don't learn anything else from watching Ask an Aquarius, learn how to make decisions and choices that are best for your life. Decisions and choices that will help you to live your best life. That's the whole point of self-love. Okay? It's very important. Think about it. Talk to you later.